What's the numbers? You got the numbers right here. No. Okay. Hi. It's DeLorne. It's Policy and Legislation Committee starting at 6:16. Okay, we don't yet actually have quorum. I always told you guys, I think you guys should have numbers here to make life so much easier for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we don't do that. Okay, so yeah, we're only one person short quorum. We don't have quorum. Yes. All right, I'm sorry. Okay, so I call the meeting to order at 6:16. We want to do introductions. My name is DeLorne Warren. I'm the chair of Policy, Legislation, and Immigration, which now I know we're calling PLI. Because I was like, what is that? Okay. Go ahead.
My name is Emmanuel. I go by he, him, his, and I am part of this wonderful community board.
My name is Sam. I'm an intern here at Community Board 1.
I'm Argelia Ortiz. You can just call me Argie. I am a community board member.
I'm here just to observe the legislation committee. I'm a community member, a homeowner, a former business owner, caregiver of many people.
Your name?
Oh, Leslie Liga.
Anthony Jordan, district manager to the board, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen. The agenda is before you. Just a reminder that our meeting is being broadcast live on our YouTube page. And if you speak for the first time, say your first and last name for our audio device to be able to pick up your voice for the minutes. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, so DeLorne Warren, the chair. We don't have any old business, even though technically for NYCHA, Mitchell Development is kind of old business. Oh, I wrote Mitchell wrong. Okay. So new business is NYCHA, Mitchell Development. And so I just, you guys, sent an email. So for just, everybody's fully aware, Mitchell had a chimney explosion and they do not have cooking gas. They all got crock pots and they all got burners, hot plates. Depending on the size of the family, maybe 1 or 2 hot plates. But yes, that's what they got. Now, there is an external generator that's supposed to be providing heat and hot water. That is an inconsistent heat and hot water depending on what floor you live on. There's some inconsistencies there. A few weeks ago, the Legal Aid Society NYCHA unit did go to the Hype Center and was saying what's some things they could advocate for. And one of the things they said is that they could advocate, they should pay their rent, should not pay their rent, but that they should ask for a credit towards rent for the inconvenience. That they could advocate from their city, state, and federal electeds for a credit. So hypothetically speaking, if their rent was, the credit would be like a 20% credit, a 15% credit. To because of the inconvenience. They did not think they would be very successful in being on a rental strike. They in fact specifically advised against it. And they did tell people to get thermometers in order to, check the temperature in their unit. But even in the room, it was clear that some people had heat, some people had hot water, some people didn't. It was very clear that that's an inconsistent problem. And legally speaking, the crock pot and the hot plates are supposed to be an adequate substitute for a gas stove. Okay? We know it is not, but we knew it would not be successful other than getting a credit. Okay? And so what I have been a little busy about is emailing my legal team at Legal Aid, because I also work at Legal Aid, these are also my colleagues, about the recommended credit amount that we should be advocating for. So Judith is a senior lawyer at the Legal Aid Society and has been working on NYCHA advocacy for over 3 decades. So she could help advise what is a recommended credit that has been successful in the past for other units that have had similar situations. Okay? So that we are not saying we couldn't ask for more, but we could cite buildings where credit was approved. We could cite a number where building a credit just to give it a little that, and so there's a wealth of knowledge that they can share. I sent that email just now, okay? And there's an intern, thank God. I will get your email afterwards, and so any correspondence, I will CC you on there. So one of our former members of the Policy and Legislation Committee, Whitney, is no longer a member. She used to be my writer and partner in crime. Obviously, I want to make sure any letter we write is a very robust letter, down to footnotes if I need to. And so we are kind of light on members and writers, but I'm so happy to have you here to assist. And so I sent that email today, and hopefully they're going to be corresponding, and I'll start CCing you on that email, the intern, and so we can keep track of it because I am juggling a lot right now in my life. But that is the goal. We don't have quorum, so it's not like we could vote on the letter. I was hopeful that we could vote on the letter in support of Mitchell, even though it wasn't delineated yet. We don't have quorum to vote on anything right now. And so we'll see what happens. But I could make sure that the letter has some retroactivity, even though we have not yet voted on the letter. So that, any other conversations about that? Also, I want to note, it was advised that we as a community board write a letter to all of our elected officials, and that they as a TA, even though there's like a lot of TA drama over there, but them as a TA write their own letter. And so I thought it would be good that we just gave them a copy of our letter to inspire and modify and build off of. But we don't have our letter yet, so that's a problem. Okay, so any other comments, concerns, anything you guys want to share about that?
All I have to say is that indeed, this explosion happened in the beginning of October. I myself was there at the center. We were helping to give out food and meals and so forth. Thank you to our district manager and to all the community board members for the assistance and the amazing output that we did bring out to help out the Mitchell houses. It is our district, and we're doing everything we can do to facilitate that situation. My understanding is exactly that. They gave one hot plate, crock pot. I don't know how you're supposed to feed a family. I'm thinking especially of children. I want to be honest, my concern is the children. How do you tell a child, I can't feed you today? Because there's, I asked Anthony and they're still trying to figure that out. I want to be able to go and help them on Thanksgiving and, see what kind of facility and what kind of arrangements they have made to help feed these people. Because it seems to me that the holidays are here. These people still haven't gotten it together, So I myself was asking Anthony about that today regarding how, go ahead.
I do want to say that I spoke to Ramona, another key member of policy that we lost. We lost some heavy hitters. Ramona is a resident, former board member, and committee member. She told me there's constantly food being distributed at Mitchell on a regular basis, whether that is bulk cooked food and imagine what we give out at a food pantry. That is being given. Sometimes it was like one building may know, another part of the building may know. The communication around it is not always fully consistent, but they're regular cooked and like food pantry food being distributed at Mitchell on a regular basis.
At the center.
At the center, sometimes.
Not to your apartment.
They're not walking door to door. What you mean? No. But they'll pop up in some, whether it's the center or maybe like in a part of the courtyard. But they'll have food being distributed on regular basis. No one has told me to plan for Thanksgiving. I was there in passing. Someone told me it takes forever to just make spaghetti. And so I don't know what the plan is. However, I do know a lot of people are talking about Mitchell.
Yeah,
Because
that's what I'm saying. I want to know how can I go and help out. I know a lot of organizations that do it, but since this is our district.
I will
and,
reach,
Yeah, I wanna know how.
the intern, I'll give you the name, who to reach out
Okay.
to, Ramona, or district
I
manager.
know Ramona.
Yeah, I think Ramona, she was gonna connect me with Jay Bookie because there's a TA issue. But the point is, I think Ramona is the best source of information, even when she's not at a point of leadership. She is fully aware and is fully keenly aware of what the leadership is and if there's something
Okay.
that being
And I
discussed.
know from my own,
Okay.
like back in October when it first happened, I know even a lot of the restaurants in the community have been offering certain types of stipulations for people to go and get a meal and so forth. I don't know if it's on a regular basis, but I know that has happened also. I'm thinking also about even the people who are, for example, on special diets. You've got elderly, you've got people who, and when it comes to, pantries and, even food, soup kitchens and everything, kind of feed people on a very general basis. So
That is-
I'm thinking about even those people with special needs.
I completely
You know?
understand. I think Ramona is the most informed and can do the most direction. With that, also, I think special food is necessary. They did explain, that means the tenants, that they may be receiving a special SNAP benefit credit, special allotment of food stamps. Again, Judy was telling me that we could talk about asking for restaurant vouchers. And so I'm waiting for the legal team to just explain to me how expansive the letter can be and how much we can ask for based on past experience. So Alex was there, Alex McDougall, who was doing the presentation at the Hype Center, and then the Judith, she's like the OG with 30 years of experience. I just happened to see her solo, so obviously took the opportunity to pick her brain about this issue in particular and all the things you should be asking in the letter. But I do want to say, in addition to the hot plates, the crock pots, there was an understanding that they may be getting some special amount of food stamp benefits.
Now, that's for the people
Huh?
who qualify. for
Well,
SNAP.
they were given that. The shutdown's over now, but they were supposed to be given that. Yes. Huh? Well, here's the thing. For the shutdown was 40 days, but it only impacted your re-up day. That's what was stressing people out because of the re-up day. So it's not like people want 40 days.
For the SNAP clients, not everybody is on SNAP.
And so the question was the SNAP allocation exclusive for people who already were on SNAP benefits, or were the SNAP allocation available for everybody? But these are questions, again, I don't have the answer to. And again, I will make sure our letter is as robust as possible and that we're asking for as much as we can for the people in that community.
Can I just add one piece of detail anecdotally because my mom lives there. So they have removed the gas line from all the units, at least for my mom's line. Like in other words, like the pipe that provides the gas.
For the stove, yeah.
It's just been completely removed.
Yeah.
So there's no pipe.
Yeah, they closed the pipes.
They didn't just close it; they removed the pipe.
Yeah.
And so what we're thinking about is like this is not going to be fixed anytime soon. It's going to take a long time.
Oh, yes. I didn't know if I was very clear. There is no clear indication it's going to be well past January for them because they're not even it. And the advocacy, at least as to Ramona, I'm not saying she speaks for everything, and I think Richie Torres is also taking that position, is to have electric stoves. And the question is, do you fix the pipe? Well, you gotta fix the pipes, but then like people might be getting electric stoves. I did ask at the general board meeting, Richie Torres representative, what is faster? Is the question I had. What is the fastest form of relief? And then honestly, everybody, at least on the NYCHA advocacy team at Legal Aid, is concerned about power surge issues.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, DM. I think you want.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I want to add to that. Yes, so adding to what the chairperson said, that low pressure, high pressure testing of the gas lines failed for all the buildings, and so there were integrity issues with the gas lines it seemed like it was several issues with the gas line before the explosion. This exacerbated it. We know that NYCHA is unfortunately in an $80 billion capital need plan that it needs for the government period in order to bring NYCHA up to stuff. And adding to more with the building, what the chair has said, yes, that the issue with electric stoves, whether or not NYCHA has the wiring, because when it was built, having the capacity to even accommodate the need for electric stoves. So any pushing what the chair said, any solution for this issue is going to take a long period of time. Thank you, Chair.
And so, but again, to my understanding, this is not the first time, and to be very clear, the reason why this issue was flagged is when the chimney exploded. Of course, the first thing they do is turn off all gas to make sure that there's no like domino impact. To turn the gas back on, you must do a pressure check by Con Edison. Con Edison comes in to turn the gas back on, and pretty much last time I checked, 6 of the 10 units failed. Well, buildings failed, meaning they're not holding the percentage of gas they're supposed to hold, which means there's a leak somewhere. And again, how long has a leak been in existence? We don't know, because you don't have to test the pipes unless you turn them off. And they have not been turned off in a very long time. Okay, so I just want to move on.
Also, the gas is not only connected to the cooking gas, but it's also connected to gas needed for the heating, as the chair.
Yeah, that's why.
That's just off, yeah.
Okay, so I want to move on just so we can make sure we end in time. The street vendor project and inviting groups to discuss is one. It should have been 1 point. 1 point. That's 1 point. That's just like a clerical error. So there's a belief that ice occupation will be happening on or around January of next year. That our streets will be flooded, similar to what we see in Chicago. And therefore, we were thinking about inviting, we may not have full committee meetings in the month of December, but we wanted to reserve a date to invite groups who have a plan for ice occupation. One of those groups happened to be Street Vendor Project, only because many of their members have various legal status in the country. I can obviously also tap into other groups. I'll try to again get the email to the intern so we can send an invite. Between the district manager, the intern, and everybody else who works in this office, we can pick a date and send an invite to organizing groups that we think may be doing stuff on the ground. Now, don't get me wrong, I am 100% versed on the Legal Aid Society Know Your Rights training for immigration. That is completely different than what we are about to experience, right? Where there's a large portion of our population that in the Bronx, in the district, that are mixed families, meaning some people have a legal status, some people don't have a legal status. The kid may have legal status, the parents may not have legal status. And we are concerned about people not going to school, people not feeling safe to take their kids to school, people not feeling safe to take their kids to doctor's appointments, or going to the grocery store, whatever the case may be. So I'm not, the lawyer and me, like, this is very like on the ground organizing. I don't know what the organizers have in plan. I don't know if people are like collecting money for funds. I don't know if people are doing specialized grocery store deliveries so people don't have to leave their house as much to decrease, exposure to ice. There's already been, we've heard what happened at Canal Street, Queens, Bronx, ice just come out, stand, and harass. It's not like they have a name or face they're looking for. They're just instilling fear. And so one of the groups I know is Street Vendor. I saw the president of the Street Vendor Project. I also want to highlight to the district manager, I was also told that we need to reach out to Salamanca about our letters in support for the street vendor bills. We signed those I don't know how many months ago we signed those. Early May. It's my understanding Salamanca has still not taken a position on those bills.
Sure.
And I was told that the community board should remind him that we are in support of that, and that means a lot to us, and we are following up on this position.
Understood,
Thank you. Please give me an update, okay?
understood.
And so just a few months earlier this year, I think first quarter of this year, we had the Street Vendor Project come and speak to us about bills they were hoping to pass to decriminalize illegal street vending, because every time you get your fingerprint, that notifies ICE, DHS. Also, we wanted to increase street vendor licensing. That number has been capped since the 70s and has never been increased, which creates a whole black market and exploitation for illegal street vending. And we passed a substantive letter. There was a Street Vendor Project had a few pending bills where we took position on every single bill and in hopes that they would pass. Now, more than ever, we want those bills to pass as ICE has just, coming more and more. And so Street Vendor Project is on there for 2 points. One, the letter of support we all voted on as a full board. It seems that our current city council member, Salamanca, still has not signed off on those bills. And so we want to follow up. Diana Ayala was already a supporter of some of those bills, but my understanding from the Street Vendor Project Director, it's Salamanca, they want to hear from us again.
Oh, okay, let me understand. So this is that we are inviting ICE to discuss.
No. We
Yeah,
are
explain
finding,
that to me.
we are inviting nonprofits like
Okay.
Street Vendor Project and other community groups. We can talk about other community groups we think we should be reaching out to discuss what organizing plans have been designed, articulated, if and when ICE occupation becomes far more spread.
I see.
Okay? I don't know what those plans is, and we don't have to reinvent the plans. There are groups that already have plans. We just want to be informed of those plans and decide how we can further advocate and inform our community of those plans.
Okay. One thing that I will suggest in our district, the Mexican Coalition.
So we should invite them.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
very active
Okay,
among
so
the
we-
immigrant, and they're the ones that are located in that church, Immaculate Conception
Yes.
on 150th Street in Melrose, that is, I think.
Okay, the interns was right here.
That's
He
the
can-
Mexican Coalition,
Yeah.
and they have a website and everything. Another group of people who I have now, that's not directly our district, they are actually our neighbors, but they help a lot of clients from our district, the Bronx Defenders.
Of course, I am the
Yeah.
director of policy for Bronx Defenders.
Yes, and Carmen has reached out to me, I'm constantly in touch with
Okay.
her. And they have actually, I think it would be good, okay, they wanna come actually to the board and do a presentation.
So this is what we're
You
saying.
know, yeah,
So in December, again, we're looking at the first week of December to
okay.
invite the various groups. So right
Okay.
now, thank you, RG, for recommending Mexican Coalition, the
Mhm.
Bronx Defenders. I'm adding on there the Street Vendor Project.
And.
Wait, hold on. Go ahead,
And Acacia, Acacia, ACACIA.
Okay,
They're also part of they have an office right here in our
Acacia
district.
Network?
Yes,
That does drug treatment?
no, Acacia, ACACIA, those are the initials. Yes, those are the initials. Acacia stands for I have a friend, Anna Melendez, she's one of the administrators there and so forth, and reaches out to the community because they have an office right here next to 149th Street. Yeah, no, I think you're thinking about the Daytop place. I'm not talking about the drug rehab place. I'm
Okay,
talking about Acacia.
Okay, so that's fine. We have Acacia. Emmanuel,
Yeah, I just have a logistical question.
tell me.
If we're gonna have a training or if we're gonna invite these groups that are gonna just provide education on what to do and how to best defend themselves and defend our communities, I think it's just so essential for us to have interpretation.
So, okay, so let's pause a little.
Definitely.
Wait, 100%.
It's a logistical point.
So we can talk about I at this point am trying for us as board members, not even the community, to figure out what the plan is, right? I don't know what the plan is. I know we don't need to invent the plan because someone out there has a plan. And I think we, as board members who are in various pockets of the community, should know what the organizers are doing on the ground. And so this initial meeting of calling them is not even to tell other people, but I think we don't know what's happening. We know what is to come, but we don't know what they are organizing. And so, and every organizer knows the hardest part is to make sure that what we're doing is getting spread around, right? So I think the first thing we want to do is get the organizers in the room. First of all, nothing bothers me more than some organizers not talking to other organizers. That always bothers me. So we'll get as many, we'll send an invite, we'll get as many in the room to figure out what they are planning. Have they even spoke to each other about their plans, right? And then we can decide from that group conversation how to best inform the community, right? And we are in this really special place where we know agencies come to the community board, we know elected officials, we can call, I can be like, district manager, call, Salamanca about our letter. What should we be writing a letter about? Because a letter from the community board is a very powerful letter. Should we be writing a letter? And I think that's what I want to hear before we get into the translation, inviting the whole public. We don't even know what the game plan is, honestly. I know there's someone with a plan, and I don't need to reinvent the plan. We want as a community board to amplify the plan, streamline the plan, and see where we fit in the plan, right? And how we better amplify the message. And so, we can co-sponsor. So who else put on the list? New York City Community for Change. They always are they have a group that's East Harlem and South Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
They always have a translator at
And
all
I
their
also
events.
think that this, or Make a Road,
So I
think
talked to
they're
Make-
particularly,
Their Make the Road is
Very good.
particularly great, but they told me they don't do anything in the Bronx. Not to say that doesn't mean they have a plan, but I literally saw the director of Make the Road in Somos, and they don't say they have a plan. But New York City Community of Change, they are very, very, very influential in organizing a lot of the monolingual Spanish community in the South Bronx and East Harlem. They're very good at that. So New York City Community of Change is good. Mexican Coalition obviously is good. Tree Vendors Project is good. I know Make the Road is fantastic. But my understanding is that they don't do a lot of stuff here. Maybe Drum.
Well, they're not even in the Bronx.
Drum?
Drum.
Drum is in Barchester.
Rochester.
And Yemen, Little Yemen. I would invite them just because I'd also like the organizers to sit down and talk to each other. Now, the South Bronx migrant community totally looks different than the migrant community in the North Bronx, and we know some of the biggest racial profiling is for the Latin community. That's where we see the biggest racial profiling. So I think we are going to be hit very hard. How about the point's not in our district? I don't know if they do any immigration advocacy. I'm not sure.
well, yeah, they do. What we could do, it may not be in our district, but our neighboring board, that's already community board too, right? And I think they would be interested in, on that level, the two district managers would be the ones to talk with each other. But I think they wouldn't mind having, they are our neighbors, and I don't see, is there anything really wrong in letting them come and converse with us and us conversing with them on that level?
So right now, I don't see any problem with that. I want to make sure I'm answering your question directly. I see no problem with that. But I just want to make sure we are clear of the organizations that organize in our district, right? And that is for sure NYCC, New York City Community for Change, Mexican Coalition. As you noted, the Street Vendor Project has a contract for the hub in particular.
She had Masa.
Who's that?
Masa, the Mexican American. They're like on third.
Okay, Masa.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but again, I don't. Bronx Defender, obviously, they do the entire Bronx. I can reach out to Legal Aid. Nos Quedamos do any immigration advocacy?
Yeah, they do, they do, but really with their direct clients, like let's say residences in their buildings they do it like very directly.
So I would
Not
also
really
put
to
legal
the
aid
direct
society,
public.
I can go shake the tree and see what we're doing.
One thing that I wanna say,
They have something, what are they doing?
well, they have a very large population of immigrant students at Hostess Community College and Boricua. Well,
So we have
Boricua is already out of our district.
Well, the point is, the reason why I said we wanna make sure there's a drafted letter, invite, there's a date, and we're sending that to someone, a point person in particular.
Something that I just, out of my concern, and I was part of the immigration committee here. We have merged. However, one thing that I found that we had to strategize with, even when we had an activity of information for these people, I never wanted to tell anybody that I was from the community board because there's so much fear out there. Okay? And to tell somebody who even is an immigrant, look, so the way we reached them was maybe like at that block party, that's where we would set up a table. You see, we have to indirectly do it because they are so afraid of us. I don't mean us personally. I mean, let me put it this way, let me reverse it. If I was an immigrant, I would not be going anywhere that tells me they're affiliated with the government either. See what I'm saying? That there is unfortunately so much
I hear
fear
you, I totally
out
hear you.
there.
I completely hear you, but this initial meeting, RG, is for the organizing groups
Okay.
and not
okay.
for the individuals we're trying to protect, because first we need to
Mm-hmm.
understand what the plan is, and then I completely hear you. As we invite community members, as we invite some of these vulnerable, scared community, we need to be very tactful. We might need to go to them.
Mhm.
There's some imams, there's some churches, maybe that's not inviting them to us, but us going to them. And so therefore we can talk about that when we're in the room with the organizing leaders. And then I hear you, how do we disseminate that information in a safe way? Because we understand the fear that is going to be there. I see your hand up, yeah.
I just wanted to make a suggestion. I am a first generation American, born, raised, and educated. My mother was an immigrant, my father was born here, raised in another country, came back when he was 27. My sister was born in America in another country because my father's, so I'm very well, I'm from immigrants. It has always been, I don't think you have to suffer so much. Every group should bring their own translator. They should have their own translator.
Yeah, but we're not
It has always been that way.
We don't have
I
to.
translate it, or I've been reading insurance forms from my mother since I was 5 years old. I couldn't even read. So to represent their particular group, they should bring their own person, not have you worry about that. And then as far as the vendors, I'm a little bit alarmed, because, who's representing the citizens that are on the list. I've been on that list since 1990. And Giuliani closed the list.
So I want to be very, very clear. The expansion of vendor licenses would not prioritize non-citizens. It's just to expand
Right.
them. It is not to prioritize one group versus another group. It is just to expand them.
Right.
And street vendor project does not exclusively work with undocumented people. You see what I mean? It is just like, there is a long wait list. They explained that to us, and how hard it is to get off the wait list, and how people are illegally selling their license for a ridiculous amount of prices. And so the law is just to open up the amount of licenses. It is not any preferential treatment.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
And also, a different group had come in, and I looked it up, and it's legal for an undocumented person to open a business, but they can't operate illegally. Your employees need to be legal. You need to do everything that is, you need to have workers' comp, you need to be paying your taxes, and it's not okay for them to operate illegally. So when you have citizens walking through the street who are on these lists or waiting years and all over the place here, you're supposed to have your license, your permit. There's only a certain amount of space.
We learned all of this. The Street Vendor Project
Yeah.
explained all of this to
And
us.
There's nothing,
They
it's,
explained all of that to
and
us.
we have people coming from Queens to our neighborhood every single day, vending.
I have no idea where they come from, ma'am. We do not ask them that. But we did learn all the laws around what you just described.
But legally, how can we fix this?
I mean,
Because
we passed,
Right.
we supported legislation to increase legal vending, because a lot of people are illegal vending. And if people had actual license and permits, they would be very protective of their license and permits and follow the law. But because, like you know, it is so difficult to get a license and permit because people need to feed themselves, they do things without knowing what the procedure is you wish you would know if you had the actual permit. And so we understand the issue. We're not saying that, but we do understand that there is one rent regardless of your legal status in this country. And we understand that a lot of people are on the street trying to feed their children and pay their rent. And I'm not excusing their behavior, but I am telling you, we are trying our best on Community Board 1. We did a full presentation about the laws, and we've not endorsed those bills automatically. We made some modification to those bills. Our street vendor project letter is on the website.
That's correct, ma'am.
Our street vendor project letter in support, opposition, or modification is on the Community Board 1 website. And you can see the letter, you can see how we voted, you can see the modifications we made to that letter. And I think it's a letter that would help everyone in the district, and there's no preferential as to legal status. So that is very clear. We're very clear about that.
I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest about one thing very quickly. 'Cause I don't wanna take up
Okay,
too
we
much time.
wanna end
And
the
we want to
meeting.
cut to the chase here, but I gotta be honest with you. I live here in this neighborhood. Sometimes when I'm on my way, to go downtown, I pass by the lady who sells tamales. I don't worry about whether she's legal or not. I just know that her tamales are delicious. And I buy a set and thank God for her, I have my lunch for the day. See what I'm saying? So all of us are indirectly surviving it. And I gotta be honest, the guy that sells apples that has a fruit stand there on 149th Street, his vegetables are always nice and fresh and clean and everything. I don't worry about whether he has a license now. I just know that he's an honest vendor. He always sells fresh fruits and vegetables. And sometimes if I don't have time to go to the supermarket to get my fruits and vegetables, everything, I buy back from him. It's reasonable. It's not expensive, and it feeds me. So all of us are indirectly involved, whether we want to believe it or not.
So the hub
with the well,
Okay, hold on. Okay, Archie,
we could converse about this forever.
we need no further comments. Thank you for your position. Archie, thank you for your position. I agree with you. We live in an interdependent society, and I also agree with you that interdependent societies are very complicated. Its legality is confusing, and I completely agree with you. But I just want to move on. We have our list of organizations we're going to be reaching out to. The intern has it, our district manager. There are notes from the OWL for it. I did reach out to NYCHA for the Mitchell letter. I did note to district manager about our street vendor letter to reach out to Salamanca as well. And our street vendor project letter bills that we supported are on the website. And then I do want to note one thing that is not on new business, but I'll just add here, and that is the hub. There's a standing meeting. Can you please tell us about the standing meeting, district manager, about the hub?
Sure, thank you, Chair. I didn't know that.
Bless you.
So I'll just do it without from memory if possible, and I shared it with you through text.
Yes.
So the Sydney woman, Amanda Septimo, is working with putting together a coalition of organizations, people from the community, members of the community board that have bid the Lincoln Hospital to apply for federal and then manage the state resources to help combat the ongoing issue as relates going forward to the drug trafficking and drug issues and that's being sold in the hub area. So the Assemblywoman is looking for members of the community, which includes the members of this community board, to join this virtual meeting or the coalition at least monthly and sometimes at Lincoln Hospital to design solutions to dealing with this long-term problem. Some people believe that it is criminal issues, and the criminal authorities should work with it. Some people believe that as practitioners, like mental health providers, drug rehab programs, and others should work with it. But altogether, we need to develop a solution to this problem. We don't need another institution or government to come and tell us how to deal with our brothers and sisters who are combating this issue. We know that this is our community. This is the issue. There should be organizations and community people working together to bring us solutions so that we can be able to help brothers and sisters who are suffering the issue. We know the Third Avenue area once was and continues to be could be a premier shopping space where people go in to be able, and it still needs some more support and development work. People to go in to be able to shop there and be able to work there and rest with their family there. All that to say that this coalition is important. It meets once a month. If you're interested, please feel free to reach out to my office so that we can be able to add you to the list to get approved to be able to join the virtual meetings and become part of the solution-driven discussion around that. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that we brought that up because one thing I have been blue in the face, if you've been on my committee, is that I think Roberto Clemente Plaza should be a market for our vendors. I think it would, one, activate the space. It would deter some of the activity that is troubling to the community. And it would become a place where people could just go and buy things instead of, I think it would even diminish some of the traffic on like as a person who lives on Third Avenue, it would diminish some of that traffic on Third Avenue and would cause people to even go to the Roberto Clemente Plaza, which is right now barricaded. So I just wanted to make sure I brought that up because we were also talking about street vendors. I don't know, the biggest problem is there's no way to activate the space on an ongoing basis. And because the space is not activated on an ongoing basis, it attracts some of this type of, behavior, or people who are dealing with, dual diagnosis tend to just lounge in that area because it's not very activated, and we could activate it 5 out of 7 days a week if possible. I understand it is a difficult process, but the Roberto Clemente Plaza is owned by Department of Transportation. They have done this activation before in Queens on a larger scale, and I believe it could be done. However, there's some issues with hot food when you talk about tamales. Very much easier for fruit vendors and flowers, much harder for hot food because the Department of Transportation obviously is going to make sure that everyone's following the rules in regards to maintenance of hot food. But again, it's not like the plaza's that big, it can fit all the vendors. But I think even if it just fits some of the vendors, fruit vendors, flowers, things of that nature, it could really help. And so I did not make that meeting, but now that I know the date of the meeting, I'm gonna put it on my calendar. And so that there can be a policy person there. So at the end of the meeting, I'm just concluding the meeting.
What, there's gonna be a meeting about the Roberto Clemente Plaza?
So that meeting is every Tuesday, virtually, hosted by Amanda Septimo. And you can speak to the district manager to get the actual forwarded email, but it's not limited to community board, it's open to the public,
Okay.
but it's every
I would like
Tuesday.
to be part of
Okay,
that
make
meeting
sure you
too.
reach out to the district
Okay.
manager.
Okay.
All right, so we have a game plan. Thank you guys for the meeting. I'll be staying in touch with you, and it is now 6:59.
Oh,
And can I get a motion to adjourn? Oh, there's no motion because we don't have quorum. So 6:59, I'm ending the meeting.
okay. Okay. Let me see. Let me get your contact.
Sorry, Missy.